All right, here we are back with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. And on the call today, we've got Kary Jablonski with Trucker Tools, the app that's sweeping the nation. What's going on, Kary?
Good morning, guys. It's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me on.
You bet, you bet. We're excited. So here it is. We're talking about the app. And yes, I downloaded it this morning and I did look over it this morning. What a cool app this thing is. It's got everything that you need. And it is and who is it directed toward?
Yeah, definitely. So we were built for the owner, operator, and small carrier. We were founded back in actually 2009. So we've been around basically since the introduction of the smartphone. Our founders, Prasad and Murali, realized that there was a real need out there for an owner operator free app for carriers, and have been around since then. Started with a couple of tools and an app and have been growing ever since.
How would you, so Kary, let's talk about it a minute. If somebody has never heard of Trucker Tools, what's the best way to describe it for them?
Yeah, we are the leading app for life on the road for drivers. So we're focused, as I mentioned, on owner operators and small carriers. We've been downloaded 2 million times by them. And right now we've got about 250,000 carriers on the app. More or less, we allow you to become a digital carrier and run your entire business out of our app, have all the tools you need to figure out where you're going to get your next load, how to track your load for a broker or a shipper, and identify the best route. Drive Safe Dave, I was listening to the beginning of the show, and we have a routing guide. Our routing tool allows you to avoid those short bridges. So you never even have to worry about being on the lookout for them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Also having those clearance, knowing where the limitations are of the road. Cool stuff going on this tool. It's pretty neat, the routing and the different things that you've got. We'll go into some of those in a minute.
Hey, before you go there, so here's my big question on this, because you're telling me that an independent contractor today, we know what happens on the road. They get to that stop, they're on the phone, they're stressing over that next load. Does it pay enough money? Where's it going to? What are the shipping hours? You're telling me that maybe they can reduce the 40 or 50 phone calls they're making and use an app to give them and show them the way?
That's exactly it. Yeah. Our app was designed so that instead of worrying about finding that next load while you're driving, instead of worrying about picking up the phone and answering that track and trace call, you can focus on what you're doing, which is driving. And then when you're pulled over between loads, when you're at a stop, whatever, you can quickly find and book that load that you're going to pick up tomorrow or the next day instantly with our Book It Now tool. It happens in real time. You do not need to go back and forth with the broker. So it's all taken care of as soon as you're back behind the wheel and ready to drive again.
Yeah.
And you know, one more thing on that, you're carrier based, right? I shouldn't say the carrier. The brokers that are using your tools right there. I mean,
Yep.
It's everybody and anybody. I looked at the list there. You know, if you're not on that list, shame on you as a broker, because you have some of the biggest ones on there, a very impressive ones. So for that, again, peace of mind for the independent contractor, what about getting paid? Is there, are you taking away some of that doubt as well?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, as you mentioned, we've got a massive broker network. We kind of run the gamut from small upstart brokerages to those really big guys that everyone who's listening knows of, several hundred of them on there. So we are an awesome way for those small independent contractors, owner operators, to actually kind of have a chance to get in with the big boys and give themselves a fighting chance to develop long-term relationships with those big brokerages who a lot of folks aspire to work with. So on the getting paid side, we've talked about this before. Safety and security is of utmost importance to what we do. So everything we do in the app is completely 100% secure, and it's completely connected to our brokers' TMSs, so that when you're actually picking up a load, it is all running through their official TMS system, so that you don't have to worry about, does this broker know that I'm actually doing this? It's all taken care of for you. So there should be no doubt in your mind or in the broker's mind about what's happening. We have document scanning in the app. So as soon as you drop off, you can take a picture of that POD. It uploads in real time to the TMS. So you're going to get paid as soon as possible.
Yeah, so that is so cool how you do that. You relieve the mind. But let's talk about, just for a second, on everybody's hot topic right now is fuel. Everybody's hot topic is how the cost of fuel, how expensive it is. Look, you've got a fuel optimizer on the app. Explain that and what it does and how it can help.
Definitely. So yeah, our fuel optimizer is tied in with our routing optimizer, which helps you find the best route for you as you're driving from point A to point B anywhere across the country. As I mentioned, it builds truck-specific routing, so that allows you to avoid those roads, low-hanging bridges, anything that you want to avoid, and it identifies the cheapest fuel stations along the way. So we've got these massive real-time data, the database on fuel prices that we're plugged into our app, so that we're collecting data every single day, every single hour, every single minute on prices as they're fluctuating, so that as you're preparing to head across the country, you're able to plan that route to take you towards, if we notice that fuel is trending cheaper up on the kind of the northern half of the country versus the southern half of the country, you're able to know that before you go. It might help you change your route, and you're going to know what you're paying before you actually get to the pump. We also crowdsource real-time updates on amenities and other items at these truck stops. So you're able to see, does this stop have showers? Does it accept my fuel card? Am I going to be able to use it when I get there? So that you can factor that in as well to any sort of calculations you're making on which fuel stops you want to stop at.
Have you seen so the market, we've seen a big shift in the market really since early February to where we are today. Less freight out there on that spot market. Have you seen more activity from carriers now, especially because you've really got to start having a little bit more strategy than you had to last year? You've got to pay attention to some of these optimizers that you have. You've got to get on some of these loads a little quicker. Have you seen more carriers use the app in the last month, 2 months than you have, say, last year?
Yeah, we have. We've seen a really sharp increase in activity recently, which is exciting because we believe that digital bookings are the future for small carriers, for independent contractors, owner-operators. And that's because, as you mentioned, you got to get scrappy in a market like this. We've got a Book It Now tool that allows you, when you find a load that you think looks good, you like the price, you're able to jump on it immediately, book it. It's taken off every single platform, real time, connected to the TMS, so you know that no one else is going to be looking at or bidding on that load. And we're building tools that allow you, we have tools that allow you to make offers and then actually negotiate automatically with brokers, so that instead of calling, waiting for a call back, getting on the phone again, getting transferred, you're able to do that all in real time, and the broker will automatically negotiate to that minimum rate they're willing to accept and that maximum rate they're willing to accept. So that really takes that time component out of booking freight. And I think for us too, we're excited about digital bookings in this market specifically for carriers. We think it allows them to jump on offers that are great for them when they see them. But we think that this movement towards the digitization of freight is really actually great for the small independent operator or owner operator, because it's really democratizing. We know that this industry is built on relationships. And in the past, before it started to go digital, it's really dependent on who you knew, whose phone number you had, how much clout you had in the market. And now that we're moving to this more app-based, technology-based economy, it enables those small guys to build relationships with those huge brokers we have on our platform more easily, which can help them build their book of business.
You have, and I think you're offering it. You were missing out on a whole bunch of different options and apps that you're still available on this app. I mean, a lot of different tools. Can you go over some more of those? I mean, I'm looking at it. You got permits and IFTA. You got message board. What are some of these other little bitty tools inside this awesome app?
Yeah. So, the big one that we've always been known for is our load tracking, which I don't think I've hit on too much. That takes track and trace calls out of the equation for you. You can easily share your location updates with brokers you work with, stay in compliance, and track your load so that you never have to worry about answering a track and trace call again. We've got weigh scale locators. We've got a truck stop guide to help you find the closest and best truck stops. We've got the load finder and booking tool that I've already mentioned. We've got a couple of cool integrations in app too. Insurance, for example, we partner with LoadSure, which is a cargo insurance company, to enable you to buy insurance on every single load on a one-off basis, so that you can make sure that you are fully covered and that you're never going without a full insurance on any load you're delivering. We've also got partnerships and integrations that allow you to find and book parking in-app. And we've got document scanning so that when you actually complete a load, you're able to take a photo of that POD, upload it in real time. So really it kind of runs the whole gamut of anything you might need in the life cycle of finding, booking, delivering a load on the road.
Hey,
Yeah.
Kary, for the broker, so many brokers, and we're all guilty of that. We're like, we use carriers one time, and then it's like we totally forget about them. Does this help the broker in identifying these carriers and maybe building that relationship, using them again, or driving that carrier back to that broker again?
Absolutely. Yeah, our founder Prasad calls those one-off carriers one-load wonders, and Trucker Tools was designed to eliminate the one-load wonder. So the way we do that is with brokers, we have built this massive carrier database for them. All these carriers who are driving on our with our app, we call them, or for brokers, those carriers who they have worked with before, we call in-network carriers. Those they haven't worked with before, who have not been onboarded, out-of-network carriers. And when a broker is using our smart capacity tool, which is kind of the broker side of the Trucker Tools ecosystem, they're able to search for carriers both in-network and out-of-network who fit good criteria for loads they're trying to cover. Maybe it's their number one run lane, maybe it's near their domicile, whatever it is. So they can find brokers, not just who they've worked, carriers, not just who they've worked with before, but brand new ones who could be a really good fit for them. And then once they go through the onboarding process as an out-of-network carrier, they are added to that broker's database and consistently brought up time and time again when a broker is using our tool to source capacity for a load. We've also got a lot of automated tools in there that help keep loads top of mind for those carriers. We send out emails on a regular basis. We've got kind of every channel possible so that brokers can send loads to those carriers who they've worked with before and develop those really enduring relationships with them, so that it makes good business sense for the broker too, because how much time and money is wasted trying to find new carriers for loads if you've already got 10 who could be a great fit who you just forgotten about. We digitize all of that, put it right there in front of them on the computer, so the broker never has to worry about losing touch with any of those carriers.
What is the ELD integration, and what is that, and how does that work?
Yeah, so we started as a mobile tracking app, but of course, over the last several years since the mandate, ELDs have become more and more popular and have really kind of offered some cool, interesting solutions that I don't think anyone really saw coming when the mandate started. And one of those is load tracking. And we know that different carriers have different preferences, different brokers have different preferences when it comes to tracking. Some are old school and want to do those old track and trace calls. Some want just mobile app tracking, and some prefer the set it and forget it nature of ELDs. So we are happy to work with brokers and carriers any way they prefer to, meet them where they are. So we've developed partnerships with over 100 ELD providers to integrate with our Trucker Tools platform, so that instead of using our mobile app to track loads, you can actually just connect your ELD once, super simple, and then track all of your loads automatically with that device. We've got, the partnerships with all of the big names who you're probably familiar with out there, and we're just always growing our network to make sure that we're providing complete coverage. So it's been a really big focus of ours over the last couple of years.
This app has so many tools on it that allow you to do so many different things. What's coming up next on this app? I know y'all got some stuff in the works, right? We got some
stuff cooking.
You have some stuff cooking?
Two things that we're working on. One is on the digital bookings. As I mentioned, we really believe that is the future for owner operators, for small carriers. So we're building out more and more tools that help you improve the way that you can find and book loads in app. So things like adding in pricing data to give you a lot of data and information so that you're making the most competitive offers possible on brokers' loads. Auto negotiation to reduce the amount of turnaround time there is when you make an offer. You don't have to wait for that broker to come back to you. You don't have to wait overnight. You might get a response instantly because we're able to actually collect data from brokers on what they want to be countering with. So a lot coming up on the digital booking side. And then on the more tool side, we're really looking at payments as the future. So building partnerships with factoring companies and over the next, couple of years thinking about how do we make Trucker Tools an option for carriers to get paid quickly.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I opened up today with talking about technology and how many how the owner operator, the drivers, the trucks, how we put a lot of pressure on the driver to jump in on the technology, the electronic logs, the forward-facing cameras, the automatic trucks, all of these things. And yet us on the other side, we've been kind of hesitant. When the brokers are when you're selling this product as well to the brokers, right? Those that have the freight to the independent contractor, what's the biggest hang up to them? I mean, do they just not trust? Do they not believe in the digital brokerage yet? What do you see as the biggest, the scariest thing maybe for the broker?
Yeah, I think you hit on it right there. It's just not yet understanding that this is a safe, secure, forward-looking way to do business. Brokerages are built on relationships, and relationships happen voice to voice, face to face. And I think there's a little concern that as we move to digital bookings, digital interactions, they're going to lose some element of trust and safety and security with those relationships they're building with carriers. But that is what we are designing the technology around. It's to, as we were talking about, actually improve those relationships by eliminating those one load wonders, by ensuring that carriers are top of mind after they work with a broker once, because it's not just kind of written on a notebook somewhere in the office or in the back of your mind, like, oh yeah, I actually worked with that guy once. It's right there in front of you on the screen so that you're never forgetting about that carrier you worked with who would be an awesome fit for loads in the future for you.
No, that's a great point on that. And I can see that. And to the brokers out there, hey, don't forget, you can still pick up that phone and say thank you for getting that load delivered on. You are allowed to have a relationship with people. Pick up the phone, say thank you. It doesn't hurt anything. As we move into these tough times, and they are tougher times than what we've seen, higher fuel, the spot rates going down a little bit. I heard something again. I want to make sure that our listeners, the independent contractor, the small carriers, they heard. Kary, one more time, tell me, what does this cost me, the independent contractor?
Absolutely nothing. We are free for carriers, and we know that there are a lot of loads out there behind paywalls. Everything is right there waiting for you to go get it. Go download the app right now. All you need is an MC number and a phone number, and you're in there finding loads from some of the biggest brokers in the country.
That is remarkable. I was looking at this. The only thing I was looking for a weatherman to give me out on this. I was looking for just anything else that could possibly be missing. This thing has about everything. I was even trying to see if I could get something delivered here to eat on your app. I was just there.
Here we go.
I'll talk to our product team about that. Maybe that's what we need next is food delivery in app.
Yeah, and you know what? You circle around to the right thing when you start delivering the food. I'm telling you, I'm all in that regard. But I do like the price. I do like the price on your app. I do like, and go ahead and brag, Kary. This is the #1 downloaded app for truck drivers, right? I mean, 100%.
It is, yeah. We've been downloaded 2 million times. I'm willing to bet if you go to any truck you see right now, ask them if they have Trucker Tools. If they don't have it on their phone right now, they've had it in the last month or two.
Man,
wow, that's fantastic.
No, it is fantastic. And again, for the independent contractor, for those watching this show right now, I want you to hear it from me that listen, having this kind of technology from the driver's perspective, it takes another level of that distraction away from them. It allows them to book that load in advance. It allows them to know that when they get to their destination right now, there is a load to get them back home. They can go ahead and negotiate the rates en route. They can accept the rate now and take that worry off of them. It has so many things involved in this, from fuel apps to tracking where they don't have to answer the phone. There's a lot of great things on here, and they have that access to I don't want to say millions, but to a lot of loads. Let's call it millions. It's me saying it's not Kary.
It's
millions of loads.
It's millions, yeah.
So there you go.
And millions of dollars. So let's just say out there, and opportunities for all to jump in on this app. Take a look at it. Download it today. See how it can fit what you do. See how it can apply to how you do your business. See if it even changes your business model out there on the road. Look, we want to make sure that you're safe and that what you're doing, and we think that less distractions, less worry, less concerns, and better opportunities give you a safer driver, give you a safer truck driver out there on the road, and that's what we like a lot of. Thank you, Kary, very much. And hey, before you get out of here, we ask every one of our guests if they will.
Tongue twister time.
Yeah, if they will say their name, who they're with, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Whew. This is Kary Jablonski with Trucker Tools, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Kary. Not your first rodeo, we can tell on that. Hey, thank you for what you're doing. We hope that you continue your growth and continue to take care and be a valued service to the independent contractors and small carriers. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you guys. I had a blast. Really appreciate you having me on.
All right.
All
And
right.
when you come up with some new tools out there on your app, give us a call. We'll get back on and we'll highlight those.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Kary.
Thanks.